Okay, guys, we were asked yesterday to do kind of some beginner calls and show people how to do beginner calls. I guess kind of like in a turkey calling contest format style, you know. So what you need and how to do it and all that. First of all, you got to have your vest. This is a tactical vest that Zach got a long time ago, and they bought me one for my birthday. It's got all kinds of compartments, got a good cushion. The cushion's really important. But I'd get me a tactical vest or some kind of a vest or something like that. But as far as calls, most of the time when I start out my day, I start out with a soft tree call. And you know, usually just to let them know you're there. A lot of times that's all you need, and they'll come on right into you. So you want to do a short tree call for us?
Yeah.
You didn't bring any calls?
I'm going to do this on
Why are you in a video if you didn't even bring any calls with you?
Jesse told me to.
Because we weren't going to talk about you missing a turkey today at 20 yards. At 20 yards!
At 40.
At 40. Both of them are grounded. What'd you do today? At 30 yards.
I was going to show them that's a tree call,
Okay,
right?
let's talk about the tree call.
All right, this tree call, just a little clucks. Maybe some purrs. Just don't want to do it real soft.
Real soft.
And you're hoping to get a response out of that right there while he's still in the tree, you know.
A lot of times if I get a response off of that, I just shut up a lot. You know, I won't say a whole lot more. So, but you know, you're going to hear up in the hens up in the trees. A lot of times they'll do a little cutting before they come down off the roost. So my tree call with my mouth call, that way you've got several different options here, but mine's just real soft too. Real soft, real easy. Don't have to be an expert to do it. I mean, it's just any kind of squeak will do it. But the hens, when they're coming out of the trees, they'll get a little more excited. They'll start putting a little bit or clucking a little bit. Big difference in a cluck and a putt. But you might see them jumping limb to limb, shuffling around up there, but they'll probably a little slower than that. I'm probably doing that a little bit too fast, but and then they're going to fly down cackle. Or not even a fly down. It's not even a cackle, but calling contest they call it a fly down cackle. This is more of a fly down to me, but
it's a cut.
Yeah,
like
it's
a cut.
real cut. Yeah. Ooh, I messed that up. You want to do it on a slate?
Yeah, I can. I think I'm gonna try to do it on a box call though. If we're gonna do beginner stuff, these guys need to be looking at stuff that's a little bit easier to run, and a box call is a lot easier to run than that mouth call that you're doing. So if you're just gonna do a fly down with a box call, it'd just be real simple like this. You just I think that right there is probably I know it's the easiest call to use, and for beginners, I would highly recommend you getting some kind of friction call before you start going into that mouth call stuff, because it's you know. But the main calls that you really need to do is the yelp, the purr, and maybe a cut. You know, that right there will. I guarantee you that right there, if the turkey's ready to come, that'll be sufficient enough calling to get him in where you can kill him.
These what is that? Yours is HS strut?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Field Champion Natural.
Yeah, you don't have to use chalk with this one here. I used to use Lynch box calls, but this one right here is it's HS strut, and you don't have to use the chalk on it. So I really like that right there, and you can use it in a little bit of wetter weather too. Also,
That's exactly why I pulled mine out. Mine's a HS strut. It's a final roost, but it doesn't have the chalk on it, so it's just real easy. You don't have to keep it chalked up. It's got a good sound to it, and does really well. I would highly recommend that. So, Jim had mentioned the purr and the cluck. I think the best way to do a purr and a cluck is definitely the slate call. I mean, you can't hardly go wrong on a slate call. But it's just they're in close. You just do a little bit of purr and clucking and just let them know you're there. So.
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, you got the is that your glass? You got the glass, and I've got the slate. They're basically the same thing. A glass may be a little bit higher pitched than a slate, but basically you do the same thing. With both of them.
And yesterday we were hunting some private land or some public land, and we had to have different slates. At one time they gobbled at a box. Another time they gobbled at his glass that was real high pitched. So you need to have different pitches and different tones to get one just to locate one. So but
yeah, and also when it's windy like it is today, you want to use these box calls and the glass calls because they've got a higher pitch to them, and they're a little bit louder. You get your volume out there versus this slate right here.
This is a purr cluck for me.
And this is on the slate. Real light. They can hear that a long way.
They can.
Matter of tell them how to hold that thing too, Donald.
I've always been told hold it. The higher you can hold it on the peg, the better off you are. I see a lot of guys holding it low, but I think the higher you are, the better. So, and see, this is the same call, just different surface. And then if you want to go into your Yelp, remember guys, we're not experts. Just trying to answer questions.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to be an expert to kill a turkey. That's the whole thing about it. I think you got to be confident in maybe one or two different types of calls. You can take one of these slate calls right here and be just as proficient and able to kill a turkey as you could with that right there. And the thing that people don't realize also is you can have this call right here and actually have two different types of calls, because I'm going to show you can my peg right here. Now let me have your peg, Donald.
Or move the call to the center of the slate, and it's going to give you a different tone.
Watch. See, it's a whole different deal. So it makes you sound like there's two different hens out there.
Yeah, a mouth call. It's real simple. Change it up, 2, 3 yelps, 4, 5, 6 yelps. It just change it up, and turkey don't have a lot of rhythm. So, but
well, you got the basic calls. You got your yelp, then you got your lost call, you got your purr, and your cluck. And those 4 calls right there, for beginners, that's all you need to really worry about. You know, there's a lot of I guess, you know, people debate on this all the time. In my opinion, and I've been doing this for over 45 years, I'm going to tell you how old I am right now. But you got 3 basic things. You need to get to where you're confident in 2 to 3 different types of calls. You need to be patient. I think that's probably the most important thing. And position. You have to be in a position that the turkey wants to go to. I don't care how good you can call. If you can have a world champion out here, and if that bird actually does not want to come that way, there's about a 90% chance you're not going to spin him and have him come back to you. So position, patience, and then be proficient on about 2 to 3 different types of calls, and I think you'll do just fine. I really do. You know, turkey calling is I think the better that you can use 2 or 3 different types of calls, it's going to be better for you. But all that takes is just a little bit of practice. You know. And the only other thing I would say is that to me, this is, besides being really patient, the most important thing that I think you can do is preseason scout. You got to get up, you got to go, and you got to do preseason scouting, because these turkeys, you have to pattern them, and the better you can pattern the turkey, the better off you're going to be when it comes time to hunt them. As long
Especially if you're hunting public land.
Yes, you know. Yes, you have to go and do that if you're hunting public land. Now, you have to know what's going on.
That brings me into a subject. You finished? I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, guys, if you're hunting public land, if there's a truck or a boat parked where you're going, that turkey's there, you know he's there, don't go in on top of somebody. That's the most unethical thing you could ever do to another turkey hunter. If they get there, they beat you there, you're done. You go find another turkey. But to go in on top of somebody, man, that just burns me up. There's no sense in it. I would never do that to a hunter on purpose. If y'all get up there and you realize you're both there, I get it. Or if you're going into a big area, a big public area that's got a big parking lot, talk to each other. It's like, I'm gonna go here. The guy that's there first gets the first option. Okay? And then talk about where you're going, or even go together until you heard the first gobble, and then the other guy goes to the next gobble. But this running up in there and messing somebody up, that's a coward's way of hunting.
Well,
and not to mention, you're going to get yourself killed.
And that's what I'm supposed to say. Not only is it unethical, it's extremely, extremely unsafe. Turkey hunting is a really, really dangerous. It can be a dangerous sport, because you haven't got any blaze orange on, and you're not in a tree stand. You're actually on the ground, and you're trying to intimidate the animal or bird that you're hunting. You know, so it can be very, very, very dangerous to try to slip in on people. You know, so you just got to have good ethics and good safety to do this.
We're gonna get everybody bored. They're gonna quit watching. But the only other thing there is a cut or cackle. I guess there's a kiki run. We'll run through that real quick. Fall time kiki run. I don't even know if I can do it on this mouth call, but nope. Takes a lot of practice. Cut. It's just a hen that's excited. Is excited, you know. Most time when I hear a hen's doing that in the woods, it's just real fast clucks. She's coming to you.
And you can do it on slate too.
Yep.
You know,
very easy.
You know, it's just the same thing. Just I mean, all these calls, you can do them on friction calls just like you can mouth calls. And I just think that they're a lot easier to start with. And then when you do buy, one thing I'll point out too, when you do buy your first mouth calls and you're going to try to practice with your first mouth calls, I would suggest getting no more than a 2-reed call. Mm-hmm. You don't want these 3 and 4 reed calls when you first start trying to do it, because they're just a little too hard to run. If you get you just a good 2-reed call, Quaker Boy makes one called an Old Boss Hen. It's a good little old call to run. There's several manufacturers make just a 2-reed call, and that's what I would suggest you get when you very first start trying to learn how to use these mouth calls. Just become proficient with them. You don't have to, like he said a while ago, you don't have to be the world champion, but just a little bit of practice and patience, scouting, and position, and you'll be set up.
I use a God's Country glass call. I like the Ozark Ridge calls. It's a really good call. We'll show you a little bit close up of this. I think it's just Ozark Ridge. OzarkRidgeCalls.com. Real easy. I like both of those. This is just a homemade. This is a CTO, and I don't even know who makes it, but it's a really good call. How about you?
Well, I just use Woodhaven mouth calls.
Yep.
I use Cane Creek slate calls. I'm kind of a this is a Cane Creek slate call with a Primos peg striker, and then I've got a Woodhaven glass call with Woodhaven striker for it. You can, like I said, you can use 2 or 3 different strikers on one friction slate call, and you'll have 2 or 3 different turkeys out there.
You guys that are local, Double L sells these in Belle, Missouri. And this slate I was running, it's a Bend Creek game calls. So really like it. It's a good call, good people. So both these guys were really good people when I was talking to them at the shows and stuff. And I hope this helped. If there's anything else you want to know about turkey hunting or we can lie to you about, just ask us. We'll make something up. So if y'all have any questions, just holler at us. Make sure you watch our YouTube, subscribe to all our Facebook, social media channels, all that good stuff. So, and we'll talk to you next
time. Maybe
time.
me and Zach will have a turkey to show y'all next time.
Nah, they're grounded.
Hey guys, if you guys want to see what else is going on around the ranch, check out these videos up here. And if you want to check out some of our other favorite videos, check out these up here. And don't forget to press this button right down here, which is our subscribe button.